Disney is the biggest entertainment company that run in animation, film, theme parks, and other similar industries which purpose to entertain, inform, and inspire people around the globe. The problem is status quo right now because of the big influence of the Disney company. They tend to monopolize the certain industry, which we think it is bad because it will kill the other private company to grow. The diversity in entertainment industry will be small. The possibility to grow innovatively and creatively also will be small. It will also create a biasity and so on and so forth. Our goal in here is clear. We want to envision a world where many kinds of industry will grow equally and ideally. A healthy competition also will exist, so every layer of society will have the same chance to develop as long as they have skill and potential, also give a good impacts and good mindsets in society. And to reach that goal, we would like to break up the Disney company as the biggest entertainment company. In here, as the government side of the house, I would like to just explain two things. The first one is why Disney was immoral, so it is justified for us to break them up for a better entertainment industry and society. And the second one is why the existence of Disney, it creates an unfair competition and it will give a bad impact towards the entertainment industry and society. Moving on to my first argument. We think that Disney is really immoral, cruel, and evil in a very persuasive way, and they are far from reaching our goal that have been mentioned before. Some reasons why. First, I would like to portray from the side of films and animation that the Disney produce. First, this kind of animation and film that produced by the Disney give a bad mindset towards the society, especially for the majority who watch that certain film is children, ladies and gentlemen. The first one is because most likely this Disney in most of their films and animation, they would like to create a certain actor as a good actor as a bad actor, right? This kind of bad actor, they will portray them as someone who also have a bad physical appearance in a powerful space, and so do the good actor itself. They will portray them as someone who have a handsome face, beautiful smile, good attitude, and so on and so forth. Which we think is really bad and contradicts of what our real life is, right? Because we cannot let people to generalize all people who like someone who have a good mindset or attitude is also someone who could in a fearful space and so on and so forth. But second of all, the glorifying of the happiness in life that exists in this Disney movies, like they also have most likely have a happy ending and so on and so forth. It also will, from those two reasons, it creates a bad mindset towards the generation, for example, for the children itself, because they will, because it contradicts the real life, so they will not be ready for every bad things that's happened in our life. Like life is all about ups and downs and so on and so forth. But second of all, this kind of stories and movies that produced by the Disney, it also violates the original folk story, ladies and gentlemen. For example, from the animation of Mulan itself, the original one is actually shows how suffer this Mulan itself, because they have to replace their father to be in a war, and they have to, and she has to war for 12 years long. But in this animation itself, Disney never portrayed that. They only portray Mulan as someone who's really heroic and so on and so forth. Also, from the idea of monopoly and an unfair competition that I would like to explain later in my second argument, it all shows you how bad and evil and immoral Disney in the powerful space, because they are the capital who have a bigger influence towards the industry, and they even take advantage and profit from that, ladies and gentlemen. They take advantage from, they produce all the bad things in the society. So we think that is really, we think that it's also their responsibility to create a good impacts to the society and to the industry itself, ladies and gentlemen. Because of that, we think that's justified for this certain Disney to be break up in a very first place. But moving on to my second argument, why we think that the assistance of Disney, it will create an unfair competition and bad for the society. First of all, how can that happen? Because first it's from the stigma of the society itself, ladies and gentlemen. Society will tend to think that they cannot go bigger and will most likely to limit themselves because they have a smaller chance if compared to the biggest company like Disney itself, ladies and gentlemen. So at the end of the day, people who have passion in entertainment most likely just cannot build their own company, or in the end of the day they also becoming the employee of the Disney itself. It gives a bad impact because first, Disney will be more dominated and more monopolized in the end of the day. And the second one is this entertainment industry itself will not be developed well, ladies and gentlemen, because they only focus with Disney focus on Disney, so the industry will be stagnant in the end of the day. But second of all, this kind of industry, the domination of Disney itself, they cannot touch every layer of society, because we know as a company, Disney have a certain interest, right? Their interest coming out from the demand of the society. So if the society is not progressive enough, this kind of people who are acknowledged as a minority, they will not have a same chance to actually be advanced or grow in a certain company and industries. So most of all, this kind of domination would create an unfair competition in the end of the day. So it will most likely give a bad impact toward the industry itself and also for the society itself. For example, like the generation, especially for the children itself. So we as the government side of the house will break up this Disney company and proud to propose. Thank you.
Everybody loves Disney. I too love Disney. But we have to break it up. And I'm going to tell you why we have to do it. In my speech, I'm going to talk to you about how it will encourage individual creators or filmmakers to create more films. But before that, responses to my imaginary opposition. They argued that Disney is within Disney's rights to build a multimillionaire company. But we say no, because Disney acquired other companies unjustly. These companies were practically bullied by Disney. The choice that they have were going bankrupt and lose the competition with Disney because of the difference in capital, or they become a part of Disney. Two bad choices can't be considered as giving a choice, because choices should be an equal alternative over the other. Because these companies didn't have any other choice, and their only good choice for them was to join Disney, that's why we think that it was acquired just, and because it was acquired unjustly, we say that they don't have a right to build their multimillionaire company. So let's move on towards my extension, my one and only extensions. How it will encourage individual creators or filmmakers to create more films. In the status quo right now, many filmmakers are discouraged in making films because it's very hard to compete within the entertainment industry. Disney has full monopoly over it. They have more capital to create better quality films, hiring more professional actors, creating better sets, more quality visual effects, and etc. Comparatively, independent filmmakers often have to fund their own films with its limited budget, resulting into lower quality films than Disney-produced films. Because they have no to little chance to compete, these independent filmmakers become disincentivized to continue making films. It costs a lot of money, but can't get enough revenue because of the fierce competition from Disney. It no longer becomes an accessible job and art platform to monetize. Sure, at best, good films should stand out if it's good, but it's still unlikely for these films to compete. Why? Because number one, indie films don't most likely have limited to non-existent budget and marketing their film, making it hard to draw views. Comparatively with Disney, they have a seemingly unlimited budget for marketing their film. Not to mention, popular actors, actresses, popular directors, and producers naturally attack people to watch their films. But number two, by virtue, it's it's unlikely people will watch an unknown film when you are constantly exposed by well-known film sagas. For example, you are more likely to watch Harry Potter over a random indie film because number one, people tend to want to pay their money for something sure of quality so it doesn't go to waste, and two, people tend to jump more on the hype train of popular films because more people watch it and talk about it, making it popular. That's why no matter what individuals, creators, or filmmakers do, it's hard and unrealistic for them to compete, and it discourages them to create. Comparatively, under our world, when we break Disney, there's no longer monopoly. Yes, there's competition, but it's more fair. There's no massive corporate entity bullying other creators with their sheer capital. But why is this important, ladies and gentlemen? First of all, we think so we are able to get more diverse films because that represent different cultures and backgrounds from different parts of the world that aren't appropriated by a large company for the sake of money, but number two, so art for a living becomes inclusive for everyone and not only for people who have capital and connections. At best, if these filmmakers join Disney, they will no longer able to make the films that they want. They have to follow the market formula from Disney to ensure consumers the uniqueness of indie films that usually depict non-populist issues that are important for social discourse will no longer exist. And more importantly, as an artist, you are compromised, you become a money-making machine, not your money-making machine, and not an artist that creates to express their utmost inner feelings. This is a bad word for indie filmmakers. Comparatively, under our side, filmmakers are able to make more free art whilst also being able to fairly compete without compromising our art. In conclusion, creators or filmmakers become more encouraged to create films because they are able to compete fairly and express their art to the fullest extent. Because of all of those contentions, we proudly propose thank you. Oh, selesai. Cuma 5 menit doang.
Iya, Cur. Cuma 20 mari.
Udah nggak masalah. I don't care.